Hey, Redneck Supreme Leader 69 is back, and he says, my 21-300 XCW came with cast triple trees. Is it worth the dollars to buy a set of forged ones to do hair scrambles? What are the pros and cons? Well, it depends on what your XCW. So, okay. So typically the forged, they're billet ones. Are they forged? Machined billet? They're forged? No.
The forged ones are like the stock ones.
Stock ones are forged. Yeah.
Forged, stamped.
Cast.
And the other ones are like on the...
Yeah, machined. They're machined billet. So like forged. It could be
forged and cast are the same thing, aren't they?
No, forged is like stamped.
Yeah, it's pressed.
When they press it, cast, it looks like sand on the outside.
Yeah, they pour it in. Yeah. So,
but I thought...
So he's talking about like the billet. I think he's talking about like the billet, most of the aftermarket ones. And there are so many different triple clamps and, you know, setups, ones that have slots in the middle, that have different amounts of pinch.
So you laugh about my followers. How many of my followers are on tonight?
Your followers?
Well, Ricky's on here, and he's...
Yeah, who else?
Yeah.
I saw at least two or three more.
I think there's two more.
Yeah.
You paid him to do that, didn't you?
No,
you
I didn't.
texted him. That's what you're doing with your phone. You texted him
Michael
and you
Pounds.
paid him.
Where's Michael Pounds? Because
Carmichael, California.
Yeah, that's close to me. Real close.
Yeah, there's three saying that George sent him here, but one of them is George's wife, so I don't know if we really count that one.
Okay, so let's get back to the triple clamps. So there's all
this
different.
is more interesting up here, though. Okay,
see, you're bored. You're bored with my show.
No, let me read the question because I already forgot what came out of your mouth.
So the triple clamps, there's all different kinds, and here's the problem with them: is until you actually ride with them, you're not going to know exactly what they do. Generally, they tend to be stiffer. They stiffer in that they kind of transmit more of what the bike is doing up through the handlebars to the rider, depending on whether they're rubber mounted and what kind of bars you have and all this other stuff. I see the trend of everybody is going to, you know, putting bars that flex on, you know, not just flex bars, but like the Makos, the triple clamps and the bar dampening stuff. I see everybody going in that direction, but going to stiffer, you know, some riders want this kind of more precise handling feel, and I think you got to be really pushing it, or you're a bigger, stronger, heavier rider that is starting to feel something that you're not getting out of the stock XCW clamps. And, you know, a lot of riders are going to completely different fork setups for the same reason. They're going to like the kit suspension, which ends up being bigger and stiffer in a lot of cases as well. So
those machined ones, though, are those forged? Because I thought it was more like they're either machined out of billet,
yeah,
or they're cast.
I don't know that they're cast.
It's not cast. No, they don't think
billet is billet in itself forged, maybe.
Aluminum stock, some kind of fancy.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm not
need a metallurgist out there to come in.
Yeah,
reach out to your friends.
It kind of doesn't really matter whether it's forged or cast. At the end result is like how stiff is it? This is the question. And I don't know of anything that's going to be that much that less stiff than the stock XCW ones. Although maybe some of the ones with the slot, and you see them, they have bolts that are offset, like one bolt on one side and one bolt on the other side with a big slot cut in the middle. And there's a lot of different companies making this stuff, and it's a rider preference, kind of a feel thing, but it's pretty difficult unless you get the opportunity to do some back-to-back testing to really understand how that stuff works.
Pizza guys in the chat room up there,
and a lot of the times when companies would want us to, you know, test their triple clamps. I remember in the magazine they'd say, "Oh, we'll just come out and bolt it right on," and you're kind of like doing a back-to-back. And that doesn't get swapped out in 10 minutes, usually like 20 or 30 minutes. And most of the time, the tracks would have changed enough in that 20 to 30 minutes to make it really difficult a lot of times to feel, you know, sometimes.
Don't some of those triple clamps, I know in like the flat track world, they adjust so you can change the fork angle. You can put different shims in there and kick them out.
So they have offset races, you know, so it actually changes the steering angle a little bit. Some of them have different offsets in them so that you can take the stem out and turn it around 180 degrees and move it a couple of millimeters forward or aft. There's and then the whole clamps themselves might be a different sort of an offset, you know, so they're pushing them farther forward or pulling them back. And then some of them have different bar positions, like where the bars are positioned on top of the clamps. So there's all kinds of adjustability there, and it really depends on kind of what you're searching for, and you know what the issue is. I would always go, what's the problem and what are we trying to fix? Because there might be an easier way to fix it, and sometimes you make sure the torque is correct in your stock triple tree or triple clamp. Make sure the every bolt that's on that thing, from the ones that are holding your handlebars on to the pinches underneath to all that stuff, make sure that torque is correct. And if you want to change the feel a little bit, try adding 2 to 3 foot-pounds of torque to some of those bolts. And same thing with your axle clamps.
You got to be careful about
squishing
your
lower
right?
forks. Yeah, it takes quite a bit to squish them, but you know you can tighten them up a little bit. Also, pinching your axle clamps a little bit tighter can change the feel. So you can actually see what that direction would feel like if you do some of these things.